Rangers are under so much pressure, both internally and externally. It feels like there are only two types of fans in Scotland: those who support Rangers and those who root against them. Here are today's explosive updates. Hagi's agent shares a transfer offer update on his potential Rangers exit to Greece before the window shuts. Clement baffles fans with a peculiar Rabbi Matondo decision at Rangers. Rangers strike gold with a star who's worth 4x more than Taverniers in 2024 money. Rangers fans told the one thing Clement needs, as a trusted ally, insists he's done it everywhere he's gone. Rangers set for a Todd Bly takeover after £150 million news. Hit the like button, comment that Celtic is all fake, and let's get started. The Hagi saga continues, and it's turning into a right old mess, isn't it? His agent Giovanni Boccali has now come out and said there's been no interest from Greece ahead of their transfer deadline, so that particular escape route looks closed for the time being. With just a few days left in their window, it's looking increasingly likely Haji will be stuck at Rangers for the foreseeable, unless some last-minute Turkish or Middle Eastern suitors come knocking, just like they've been sniffing around Taverniers. The real kicker is Clement's stance on Haji. It's as firm as ever. The gaffer clearly doesn't fancy him, despite being a bit short on creative options, and he's shown no signs of changing his mind. So, unless Haji fancies warming the bench or, worse, getting stuck in the B team for the next few months, Boccali's got his work cut out, trying to find a club willing to take him on. Part of the problem, of course, is Haji's wages. The rumored £25,000 a week Rangers are paying him is a big stumbling block for most clubs that might fancy him. And the cherry on top of this mess? If Haji plays and hits that magic 100th appearance, he triggers a clause that'll see his wages bumped up by £6,000 a week. No wonder Rangers are desperate to keep him off the pitch. It's a classic footballing standoff. No one wants to pay the wages, Clement doesn't want to play him, and Haji's stuck in the middle. If they don't sort this out before the window slams shut, we'll be facing the same drama in January, but by then, Haji could be even rustier, and the offers might dry up even further. If a club with deep enough pockets doesn't swoop in soon, Rangers and Haji are in for a very awkward few months. Clement's decision to keep Rabbi Matondo on the pitch against Celtic, despite his obvious injury, has raised quite a few eyebrows, and Hugh Keevans is right to call it peculiar. Matondo had gone down with what looked like a hamstring issue early on, and instead of taking him off immediately, Clement left him out there for another 15 minutes. Now, Matondo's facing 6 to 8 weeks on the sidelines, and it feels like a situation that could have been easily avoided. Clement's usually cautious with injuries, so it's baffling that he took this gamble, especially considering Matondo has been one of the brighter sparks in a rough start to the season. The lad's not perfect, but his pace and energy have been valuable, and with Rangers struggling, the last thing we needed was to lose him for an extended period. What makes this even more frustrating is that Clement arrived with promises to make the squad fitter and stronger to avoid these exact types of soft tissue injuries. Yet here we are, with another key player out due to what feels like mismanagement. The team's already looking thin up front, and Matondo being out just piles on the problems. Let's hope this isn't a recurring theme with Clement's handling of injuries, or we'll be facing more weeks of frustration. James Taverniers. What a saga his future's shaping up to be. The captain's been a mainstay at Rangers for years, but the start of the 22-24-25 season has him looking more like a shadow of his former self. That old firm defeat was another reminder that his performances aren't quite hitting the mark, with Dyson Maeda leaving him in the dust again. You can see why folk are starting to question whether Tav's time at Rangers might be nearing its end. The lad's 32 now, and though he was prolific last season with 24 goals and 12 assists, this year's been a different story. He hasn't found the back of the net yet, and his 2 assists are a far cry from the attacking dynamo we're used to. The talk of clubs in Turkey and Qatar sniffing around during the summer makes you wonder if we've already seen the best of him. If Steven Gerrard or Gio van Bronckhorst had managed to pull him away, it might have saved Clement a tough decision. But now, with January looming, we could be looking at the final chance to cash in on him for a decent fee before his contract runs out. Whatever happens, you can't deny Tav's been an incredible servant to the club. Over 400 games, countless crucial goals, and leading us through that unforgettable run to the Europa League final. But as players age, even the best start to slow down, and the stats are showing that his attacking output has dipped significantly. It's a tough pill to swallow, but maybe the time's come to start planning for life after Tavernier. And speaking of selling defenders for big fees, the Alan Hutton comparison is a good one. Back in 2008, we managed to wrangle £9 million from Tottenham for Hutton, a huge sum at the time for a right-back who came through the youth ranks. In today's money, that'd be worth almost £30 million, an eye-watering amount. While we probably won't be seeing that kind of fee for Tav, especially at 32, you can hope we might still get a decent return if he does move on in January. Either way, Tavernier's legacy at Rangers is secure, but as always in football, sentiment can only take you so far. It might be time for a new era at right-back. Philippe Clement's trusted former assistant, Johan van Rumst, has given Rangers fans a crucial bit of advice. Give the man time. Clement's under pressure after that old firm hammering and the shaky start to the season, but Van Rumst insists Clement's track record speaks for itself. He's done it before, turning teams like Genk, Club Brugge, and Monaco into title winners with relentless hard work and tactical drilling. It didn't happen overnight at those clubs, and it won't at Rangers either, especially given the injury woes and limited budget he's dealing with. Van Rumst gives an insight into Clement's philosophy, which revolves around a well-drilled 4-3-3 with wingers making clever runs and fullbacks pushing high. He used players like Crépin Diatta at Brugge and Abdallah Sima in similar roles. But these intricate patterns and movements take time to develop, especially with a new squad like Rangers. The Belgian wants his teams to dominate games, create chances, and play on the front foot, but that style can't be instilled in a few weeks. Fans are understandably furious after the latest setback, but as Van Rumst points out, Clement's a football obsessive who'll be analyzing every inch of that Celtic defeat to figure out what went wrong. He's not the type to pass the buck. He'll own his mistakes and work tirelessly to correct them. Sure, some might argue it's not just time Clement needs, but money. Yet, with no billionaire benefactors in sight, it's his tactical nous and relentless work ethic that'll have to see us through. The comparison to Monaco is telling. Clement handled massive pressure there, guiding them to the Champions League in his first year. But football's cruel, and a bad run can derail even the best-laid plans, as happened in his second season. That said, Van Rumst insists Clement is calm under pressure and won't panic or rip up his approach at the first sign of trouble. He's got a 4-year deal at Rangers, and it's clear the board trusts him to build something long-term. He's done it before, and if anyone can fix the stuttering Rangers machine, it's him. So, could we be seeing a Todd Bly light takeover at Rangers? According to Keith Wyness, former Aberdeen CEO, that might just be on the cards. He reckons private equity investors from the States are eyeing up Rangers for a potential $150 million deal, and given the club's failure to secure Champions League football this season, it's prime time for someone with deeper pockets to come in and take over. The comparison to Todd Bly, who took over Chelsea, is interesting. Rangers wouldn't need the same scale of investment as Chelsea, obviously, but the concept is the same. Bring in fresh, big money ownership, potentially from the US, to shake things up. Wyness is pretty blunt about it. The current Rangers board just doesn't have the financial muscle to take the club to the next level. The big European nights and the financial boost that comes with them are slipping out of reach. And without that cash injection, it's tough to compete, especially when you've got Celtic comfortably navigating the buy low, sell high model and maintaining a healthy balance sheet. Wyness's point is clear. Rangers have a massive global appeal and a long history of attracting talent, both local and overseas. But if we want to compete consistently in Europe and close the gap on Celtic financially, a bigger backer is needed. This is where that private equity interest could come in. A smaller group than Bowley's setup at Chelsea, but still with enough financial clout to put us back on the map. The current board might have stabilized things after the chaos of years past, but there's a limit to what they can do without the Champions League money rolling in. Wyness believes that now's the time for them to step aside and let someone else steer the ship. Whether this happens or not, it's clear that big changes could be on the horizon if the right offer comes in. I'll be back with more bombastic and exclusive Rangers news at any moment. If you don't want to miss any, just hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, all right? We are the people.